So I'm Pastor Mick Fleming from Church on the Street in the UK. My journey to become a pastor has been from a background of abuse, death, drug addiction. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I was brought up Catholic, good parents, and everything changed in one moment. I went out to school one day and I was attacked and I was raped. And my world just completely changed. When I went home that night, I went to bed and this man had said that if I told my mum and dad, he'd kill them. So I was afraid. And when I got up in the morning and I walked downstairs, my dad came through the door and said, "Your sister's dead." And my sister had died in his arms. I could never tell then what had happened. My mum had a bad back and she used to take medication. And I didn't know anything about drugs or anything, but I went and took some of her tablets. I laid on my bed and I just felt this beautiful, warm feeling. All the pain went away. When I came back, it came down with a bang. I didn't know then, but I'd take a drug or a drink or something every day for the next 30 years. And that's sort of how I became addicted to substances. My story then is about hurting other people, doing something with this anger, making money and becoming really like a gangster, somebody that hurts people. So there's been times in my life when I've been very dangerous. So I would collect debts, drug debts, so people owe a lot of money for drugs. So they'd pay me to go and collect the debt. To get the money, I would have to hurt people. I'd carry guns, knives, and I've hurt a lot of people. My heart was hard, very cold. You know the 10 Commandments in the Bible? Those, I've broke them all. At this specific time, if there is an enemy of the world, which I believe there is, then he had hold of me. When I got shot, I remember looking in the mirror in the car and laughing, really excitedly laughing. So when there was danger of things that were really bad, I had this kind of sickness that would make it humorous. The darkness, so this anger and this energy to destroy is such a power, you know. It was so powerful that I wanted to keep it because I thought that was strength, and I didn't understand that when I'm weak, God puts grace into me to make me strong. So I only wanted my own strength. It's not who I am anymore. I got arrested, and when they questioned me, it became obvious I was suffering from drug-induced psychosis. So when I take the drugs that I used to use, which was crack cocaine, the police interviewed me and said, no, he's going to a psychiatric unit. So I spent 4 months, and in the time I was in there, the other patients helped me so much. These were people who were seriously mentally ill. They had schizophrenia and personality disorders, and they liked me. I sat down with 2 of them, and separately they both told me that they'd been sexually abused. And I never heard anybody say that before. I said, that happened to me. And something happened inside here. It was like I'd spoke about it for the first time. I felt these people understood me, and for the first time in my life. So these characters that were in there supported me and helped me. The time I was in there, I wasn't taking drugs or alcohol. I got clean. I hadn't been clean for 30 years. I started getting all these emotions and all these feelings that I didn't have before. I found water running out my eyes. I didn't understand, they were tears. I started to get a freedom. It was so hard to not drink again and not to take a drug because the emotional feeling was ripping me up inside. I had so much anger in me towards this man who'd abused me. It was just one day at a time. But the people in that psychiatric unit changed my life and developed my theology. After the psychiatric unit, and I was at university, I failed my first year because I couldn't read. I was just pretending. I got some help, and I got these glasses, which is special glasses. They helped me with dyslexic and an eye disorder. And when I got them, I could read properly for the first time in my life. I read about John Wesley, who was 200 years ago, he was an evangelist. And he said he had his heart strangely warmed, which meant he'd had a God experience, not in his head, but inside him. And I thought, I want that experience. So I went and I asked the chaplain at the college, why did he get that and I don't have it? And she just told me really simply, she just said, Mick, Jesus died especially for you. and it just felt so personal, and it broke me, and nothing's been the same since. From that moment on, I felt this internal change. The miraculous has happened from then on. To leave university and to build church on the street, to sit here talking to you and to write books and lots of other things has been miraculous. But they all came from that moment. It was like something going right into my heart, and I felt it, you know, and it set me free. I was living in a homeless shelter and I was clean. I was going to the gym. I still felt like I wanted to drink and take drugs, but I didn't. I was helping drug addicts and alcoholics like me, and I got so much peace in this time. I was in a McDonald's. I saw an alcoholic. He was swearing. I sat down and talked to him. I arranged a meeting the day after in the same place, and I ended up helping him. He got sober. He died 2 years later with a type of faith in Jesus. I never told him he was the man that raped me. When I saw him the first time, I knew it were him. The day after, I had 2 knives and I intended to cut his throat right in front of everybody. And as I was walking over to him, he's smiling, and the more he smiled, the more I wanted to do it. And I just had this moment when I got close, something I've rarely experienced. It was like, why are you living in his sin? Why are you living in his sin? And I put the knife back in my pocket. It wasn't like a God speaking to me, it was a thought. And then I understood what forgiveness was. I couldn't forgive him. I wanted to hate him and I wanted to kill him. So forgiveness stopped being saying, oh, there, it's all right, and said, I'm not living in your sin anymore. It's nearly killing me. I didn't love the guy, certainly not like Jesus would. But by the time he died, I didn't hate him and I didn't want to kill him. So Christianity says I'm free from my sin, but I'm also free from what's been done to me. And forgiveness is such a powerful thing if you allow God to do it.